When my daughter asked me to mend her iPod, he wanted a new jack and he wanted a new battery. And I thought, that's a devil, you know. But trying to solder these things in, it was hard work. Because all I had was like a magnifying glass. I had a light with a magnifier on it well. But I found it really difficult to work on. You know, it was a real struggle. So I thought there must be a better way of doing it. So I had to think about it and found that, you know, I had a few things that would help me. One was a TV. This had been in the garage for 5 or 6 years, not doing anything. And so that was all right. I also had a little camera. And I thought, well, what I'll do, I'll set up this little camera and I'll shine it on what I'm doing and see if I can see what that looks like. Well, it's okay, but this is a pretty lazy camera. It's all right for videoing, say, you know, this group here, but not too good for filming anything close to. So it wasn't any good. So I sort of abandoned it for a while, and then I resurrected it again. Some other job came up, and I resurrected it again. And I decided I would buy a camera. I've never had a video camera apart from this thing. So I thought I'd buy a camera. And I bought one, and it's this one here. I'll be showing you shortly. And the only other thing I needed, apart from a cable, was something to sort of support it. And I got the final bit of the jigsaw at NASA this year. Okay, that was the thing. I was going to use a sort of wooden sort of frame, but, you know, I was looking for an angle power lamp, but they cost a fortune. So I ended up, I found a microphone boom at NASA, and that's what I'm using tonight. So that's the sort of background stuff. So I'll start this video. I've got a video I'm going to show you, and it's me soldering a board. Now, it's not a very difficult job, this board. It's quite a simple board to solder. It's a small board, but I could have actually soldered it without magnification. It's not so bad. It's sort of standard sized resistors and capacitors and so on. So it's not too difficult to solder. But I've got a board here that's a bit more difficult to solder. This is just a scrap board, you can have a fiddle with this. But if you look at it, sort of at the side, where it feels like there's nothing there, there are a lot of components. So I'm going to pass it round and let you look at the components with the magnifier. You won't be able to see it with the naked eye. So I'll just pass this around, just have a look at the components on that board, both sides, and it's the small components that really, well, you know, you'll be able to see. So if you're working on iPods, and any other small electronic device, those are the size of components you're likely to face these days, and it's really, really hard to work on. So I did a video of soldering something that I had, and that was, I was going to make up a small moisture unit, and it's inside here. This is it. So the printed circuit board you see is in here. So I'll switch it on now.
There's components that you can't see without a magnifying glass. I can see them.
The video, it took about an hour and a quarter to make this board, but it lasts 15 minutes. I've edited it. So you don't need to worry. It's extremely boring.
R33.
You know, there's no sound.
C42.
It's just something in the background.
C11.
You know, it's me soldering.
Okay.
So there's the board. This is the very first joint to solder using this technique. We're actually looking at the screen and directing my attention to the board and doing a bit of soldering. So what I do is I'll work through this board, I'll populate the board one at a time, or two at a time, with components, add them to the board, trim any wires and do the next scene. So that just chugs along through all the different components. That's all run for about 15 minutes. Excuse the funny sort of marks on the hand. I was sort of painting a garden lawn before and I didn't realise it was paint. I thought, what's up with my hand? Have I got something? It's actually paint. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So while I explain that, I'm going to show you the bits that I used. This is the camera I got. This is a nice little camera, and I was very lucky because I got it dirt cheap on eBay. It was under £20, and it's a HD camera. And the most important thing, it's got an HDMI port on it, which allows me to connect to the television.
Better.
This is the bit that supports it. I can get it out now.
No, just to try it out. See
Right,
what,
it's just that she has someone to take photos.
Which I will connect to.
I think Alan's got a couple.
Yeah.
Knock us a couple up or something.
Put it the right way on.
Yeah.
That's it.
But without flash, actually. Considering it's without flash.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
No, it's pretty good, that. Yeah. But could.
It'll kill what's on the monitor.
The thing about this camera is that it's got autofocus, which is important, and it's got a good zoom on it. And one of the things that you really need if you're doing this sort of work is to be able to have enough space. You can tighten this thing up to see what you're doing exactly. Why is that falling down? Oops. Not so good at doing everything upside down.
Real.
Not to stay in place.
Looks like it should have a brush and shovel with it. Looks like a poker, that, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, at least there was a silver
Looks like a poker, that's the favourite, isn't it? Pencil lead.
Right. Cable needed. Cable.
I think what I'd struggle with is if you're actually having watched the television and you're working with this down here, how do you manage that?
Well, the television wasn't up there.
Oh, okay.
It's here in front of you.
Right.
So you're
But
here,
still, you know, it's
and that's it, you
not
know.
at the business end.
I put it on the big telly so
Yeah.
everyone could see it, that's all. You know, I could have, originally I put it on the small telly at the other club. But everyone was sort of crowding around and, oh, we've got a big one, so we may as well
Use it, yeah.
show that.
Cheaper to do it the way Steve does on the repair programme with 2 pairs of reading specs, one on top of the other.
Right.
And he don't get flux fumes up his nose that way.
We got to the big room staying, yeah?
Stop resistors
Yeah, that's the support. Just bend the wires over a little bit.
Sorry, what was that? I didn't catch that.
How do you stop your resistance?
Well, I don't like bending them over too much, you know. So what I did, I just stuck a bit of tape underneath and just peel it off. And next component, move the tape, you know, that was it. Yeah.
Been doing it for 3 years. You need to do it.
Try to get there.
Because then it happens to come sign it and it'll be
I call this video soldering. Don't think of anything else. Right. Turn on the telly. So as you can see, it's more of a demonstration. It's not really a talk. It's just demonstrating something that I put together. These are the helping hands, which are quite useful. But they're no use unless they're on the base. If you put them like this, they're pretty useless. You know. I've got a couple of magnets there.
I found them very good.
Okay, aren't you? Yeah. I mean, you can get fancier things than this. These are the dead cheap ones, you know. But,
You don't need fancy.
you don't need fancy. No, it's what I'm using here. It's these. And it works. That's all that really matters, isn't it? I'm going to put this this thing. That will go underneath there somewhere.
Oh, we're way to go, yeah.
It'd be that big.
5 minutes and 59 seconds.
Watching.
Yeah, we are ready to pounce.
See the technique. For anybody who doesn't do much soldering, you know, anybody that doesn't do much soldering,
Well, I do
well,
it.
everyone does.
I've not been in for ages.
No, you're not. You know, it's quite easy soldering, but a lot of people do get it wrong if they've not worked on electrical equipment. You know, you can see what I'm doing is you touch the sort of wire and the sort of PCB with the iron and heat those up and melt the solder with those rather than melt it with the iron and blob it on. You get the amateur sort of blobbing it on. So you get a cold joint and no use at all. It might look alright, but inside it's not made. So you need to actually melt the solder with the with what you're trying to solder.
So that's more of a professional iron, isn't it?
Well, I've got the iron here. It's not that professional. It's one I bought on eBay. It's pretty ancient, and you know, like most engineers, the bit is seen better days.
It's only 15 watt, isn't it?
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know what wattage it is now. 50 watt.
50.
It's got a solder station. I've not got
But it looks so different on there.
yeah. I've not got the sort of, you know, the base unit that goes with it. You can alter the temperature on that. I just brought this because when you have a go, you can actually go with this. But I didn't bring the base station because I didn't want you to burn yourselves. So we'll have a few more bits. We'll pretend we're soldering with a bit of solder.
Hello guys.
There it is.
That's it. What was it? Oh yeah, yeah. That's the one, yeah.
One terminal to the next.
So bridge two terminals together. I could have edited that out.
All three of them.
Yeah, come back to us. Well, there we are. So we're bringing the
So now we
cable
know
in now.
any sound on it.
That's why I edited the sound out really. So here we are, it's appearing now, there we go.
Calling a sucker.
Little demonstration of the actual setup that I used. I'll turn the camera on And to do that, I just undo this little thing. Something should appear on here.
What appears is, oh,
Yeah, there you go.
Now, as you can see, you can go, sort of go up and down, and it will auto-focus up to a point. You can actually read the values of the resistors and so on, which obviously you could hardly see, never mind read the values. You can see where they all are. So in a moment, I'll ask you to have a go with it really. I just wanted to talk to you about this surface mount technology though first. Found a place on here. I think it's on this side. Yeah, it is. It's on this side somewhere. Hope we can find it again. That was next to a chip. This one here, I think. What I was actually looking for is somewhere there's no component. There is a place there with no component on. And what I was hoping to show you was what to do if you are wanting to solder a resistor or an inductor on this board. How to do it. Because it's not easy. If you've got one, so if you drop it, you've lost it. It's so tiny. So you've got to actually be prepared. And the way I would do this is I'd get my screwdriver and I'd use some of this flux. I would push that up and a dab of flux on the end. And I'd put on the board a dab of flux where I want it to go on the two sides of the component, like that. Then I'll get my tweezers, get the component and place it on the board, and it would stay in place more or less, the flux holding it in place. So you're sort of nearly there. And then before you get the iron anywhere near it, I would press it down with that, and then using your iron, dab a bit of solder on and just bring it over, and it will solder it on. Solder one side. Once you've got one side on, you're okay. And then you can reposition the board if necessary, solder the other side. That's how to do it. It's not easy. You'll never do it in one go. And there's not a lot of point trying to put a blob of solder on the pad. It will be uneven and you'll never get it to sit right. So you need to sit it on the pad, hold it there with the flux, and just solder one side then the other. So that's a little technique I would use, or I've used, to solder small components on the board. Right. Don't be frightened of touching the board or anything.
Yeah, I can go from left to right.
Yeah. Well, I've seen people, professionals soldering on YouTube. They'll do the whole strip in one go, and then they will just release, wipe the tip, and then just simply melt all the bridges. So you end up with it all soldered. You can do a strip like that in about 30 seconds.
It's a solder bread,
Yeah, just run across like that.
Yeah, you can use it.
With your solder.
is that
So it's not as difficult as it's.
Is it a bit? No, it's not. No.
Yeah, when you can see something.
Yeah, I've never changed the chips over, but I've changed the small ones, and they're not easy.
That much of a
difficult to do.
So you built all this?
No, quite successful from my point of view. I know at Bolton, 2 members have bought this very camera since we haven't talked there, because it's such a good camera. And they're normally going for about 150 quid on eBay, and I got mine for under 20, and one of the Bolton lads got one for 23 pence and all that. You know, so they are there if you're prepared to look and wait, you know. But if you've already got a video camera, away you go. You know, even my little one works, but the picture isn't clear enough or near enough to be, you know, there's not enough zoom on it to be able to use it. You know, I could see a picture. On this screen I probably would manage it, you know. This is the screen I have, so, you know, I don't have one of these going Buckshy, you know. This is the size most people have in the garage these days. Bedroom type ones or, you know, that sort of thing. So that's about it really. Who's going to go first? Come on, we must have a
This way the
volunteer.
point. I found using things like this, you can easily get hold of something that flicks out.
Yeah,
But
I have another type
the
here.
ones I've got are crossed, so it,
Well,
the ones I've got are crossed and it keeps it, and you have to press it to open it.
That's
So
it.
it keeps
That's what you do,
putting
yeah.
tension on
it'll
it.
grip it, yeah.
Yeah, but the ones that are crossed, so you press to open, as soon as you release, it's got the tension, it keeps the tension on. So you can actually, instead of having to press it to hold it.
Well, you know, you could use that, you can grip it, you can put it on, and then you
Yeah.
can just release it. You know, that's it. Like I say, holding it with the flux was the key, really.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you need something to hold it in place. Otherwise, a breath of air and you've lost it. That's it. Right, who's going? Come on, you're the nearest, you can have a go.
It's all right.
No? You're not bothered? No? What about you, Martin?
To have the,
We're all used to doing it anyways.
you keep your angle points on a different table, because I notice it's wobbling a bit.
Well, it is, because I'm banging it, aren't I? You know, and I actually did it stood up in the garage, because I have a worktop in the garage, windows behind, TV was on the windowsill, I was stood up. There are a couple of disadvantages I forgot to mention about it. One of them was it's 2D, 2 dimensions. That screen's 2-dimensional, no depth. But you soon get used to that. And there is, as you'll find if you try it, a slight delay in you actually doing something in it appearing on the screen. It's probably a quarter of a second, it's very little, but you notice it at first and then you don't. It's not a problem anymore. So after 5 minutes of soldering, it's not a problem. Neither of those things are. I got used to doing the whole thing like that. Was the first board I'd soldered, and I got used to it. You know, a piece of cake really. So in my book, it was successful. You know.
Have you tried using the sort of the paste?
No.
The surface mount, that's what we used to do. Just paint it on.
Yeah, but do you use a hot air gun or do you use an iron?
We had hot air guns.
Well, actually, I don't have a hot air gun. I don't want to buy one.
I've tried it, but
You know.
it's component off.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you can
I used to
actually
just
blow
hold the missus in
a
front of it,
straight
she had
cushion
plenty
blow,
of
it'll
hot
blow
air.
everything else off if you
Yeah,
don't care.
I think they're a bit difficult to use, aren't they?
Great for pulling ICs off boards and things like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that.
One of the guys at Bolton is making up a unit, and it's a surface mount unit completely, probably a board about this sort of size, and he's using paste, but he's using a hot table to melt it. So he's been experimenting, getting the temperature right on this hot table. So he's going to put his PCB on the thing with all the components on and switch it on and watch the solder all melt in place.
And pick it up.
That's the theory.
Pizza oven works.
I don't know how he's gone on with it yet, or how many boards he's burned in the process, you know. But he bought one of these cameras to enable him to do that, to actually put the components onto the board, because he had to manually populate the board, and he had to populate the whole board before he could do his soldering. So I don't know whether he's done it or not yet. I've not seen him for a couple of weeks, so I'll ask him next time.
So what's the actual make and model of the camera?
It's a Sony, and it's a TG3.
TG3.
TG3. It's one on eBay at $10.99 at the moment. It's going, it probably finishes tonight or tomorrow, but there's no battery in it, and there's no charger in it.
Wow.
Those things will probably cost you 15 quid each. So,
What's the HDMI? Is it miniature HDMI or a full size HDMI socket?
this one, it's a smaller one. I don't know what. I mean, the computer here has a different size than this, and neither of them are standard. You know, so I don't know. But it's. I just bought the right lead. That's it. Like £3 or £4. So,
Well, everybody's been boring hours ago.
that's it.
It only takes one step up from there.
Flux, Alan.
Bring the man a chair. Let him sit down.
Your flux.
Flux, yeah.